Hi, sword nerds. I've got David here from the Idaho Falls Fencing Group, and he's going to teach us French things. Gross.
Okay, French smallsword. So, French smallsword is an evolution of the rapier. It was designed to be able to be carried around easily, but and still look good while you have to stab somebody. So, way you hold the sword, first of all, finger, finger, pinch. I offset my fingers. That's it. That's the whole grip. The rest of your fingers just chill right here. But you use your thumb and pointer finger to actually manipulate the sword around. That lets you do really small point motions or blade actions with just those fingers really powerfully. Well, these stop you from dropping the sword, essentially. The way that we stand here, so we put our feet together, we put our front foot pointing outwards so that we're in an L shape, and we take a step forward or back. We have about two of your feet in between your feet, 50% of weight on each foot at about here on the foot, roughly the middle or the ball of your foot is where your weight should be. I should be able to slide one credit card under your heel, but not two, so that you just have just enough that you can move nice and smoothly back and forth or sideways. With our backhand here, I have my fencers touch their thumb and middle finger together, put it back on around their head. The reason why you touch the fingers together is it's a tactile cue to remind you where your hand is, so you don't do this and then lose the profiling you gain by having the smaller target. The smaller target you get by putting your hand behind your head here. The point goes at the opponent's eyes, and the hand goes about the height of your ribs, and roughly a fist between your elbow and your ribs here. Just like that. Prez got it down pretty well. And that's how you stand. Next thing we're going to talk about is advancing or moving forward. So Prez is going to assume his stance here, and he's going to point his toes so they're square with the other toes there, and then he's going to move his front foot forward and then his back foot forward, one after the other, and he's going to keep at least the same amount of distance between his feet as he does advance. Now, a retreat is the same thing backwards. Retreat. So the foot that is the direction you're going moves first. Any advance or retreat are valid as long as the direction foot moves first, the other foot moves second, and you start and end with the same amount of distance between your feet. Advance, retreat. Very good.
There's a fun thing that I noticed. I noticed this when I was doing kendo years and years ago. Uh, I'm a very warm person, so if I stand in one place for very long, the ground becomes warm, and it's an excellent telltale. Did I retreat back to the correct place? Am I standing on the warm spots? So, if you happen to be a hot boy like me, that might be a good cue to use.
Yeah, that might be. Okay, the next thing, extending and lunging. They're two separate steps. So Prez's going to go ahead and he's going to assume the stance, and he's just going to extend his arm out. That's the extension. You do this before you lunge every time. When he lunges, his backhand is going to fall backwards down as he steps his front foot forward and leaves his back foot planted, and lunge and recover. And that that backhand comes back up. That's how you extend and lunge. And I know people are going, why do we extend? We'll get to that in a second. Okay. The basic guards. Most basic of guards are inside and outside. Inside guard, outside guard. What makes my guard inside or outside is where my fingies are. Fingers on the inside, inside. Fingers on the outside, outside. You want to keep your point on line at all times. High guards, tip is high. Low guards, tip is low. In order of numbering, we have second or two, tierce or three, cart or four, quinte or five. If you go, David, where is one and other numbers? We're going over the basic things. We'll get to those another time. But basically, keep your fingers facing towards your opponent's sword if you're in an engagement here. You always want to keep it here because you have the most leverage. So if I come on the other side, he's going to turn his guard out. If I come down, he's going to turn his guard down and fingers toward me, and same thing on the other side, just to give some opposition and make sure you have some leverage.
A thing that I've noticed separately is your hand has a lot of deflection it can make in this direction,
Yes.
and very little range of motion going the other way.
Yep.
So if that's something you haven't seen before, if you've not run into it, just try to push anything away. Your hand just doesn't go that direction.
Yep. Well, I mean, it can go really far that direction once.
Yeah, once.
And then it won't go any direction. The parries. In your guard, for example, I'm on the inside here, cart, or the outside here, tierce. Either way, if a blade is coming at me, so if Prev and I are going there, and he's extending and lunging, really small lunge, oh no, he's touched me. So I must protect myself, right? So in order to protect myself, I'm going to leave my point on line pointed at him, move my sword back and to the side as much as necessary. We're in a small space comparatively. Normally we'd be farther away, so I wouldn't have to move my hand as far back. But as long as my point is in line and my strong is on his weak, and he's not hitting me, here, I'll do the outside here, so that they can see you're not hitting me, then I'm all good, because now I can riposte as he moves back. I'm going to keep my strong on his weak, so go ahead and recover. And then there is my riposte, which means that he, in turn, will have to move his blade back to take my weak with his strong. So every time you recover, button up. Buttoning up means returning to a parry position against the opponent's blade. So if Prev lunges and recovers, and see, he's buttoning up, he's keeping himself safe. That avoids after blows and sometimes doubles.
Well, and in a priority system, right? It's just as valuable.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get touched.
Don't get touched. In a priority system, it gains you back the priority because you have defended and you have demonstrated your defense, and now you can go. You don't have to wait anymore, and you can you're counter parrying and riposting from there. A counter parry and riposte, by the way, is where you parry a riposte and then you riposte after the parry of the riposte. And that you can put counter as many times in front of that, just like you can with grandma. You know, great grandma.
It's ripostes all the way down.
Yeah, it's still just a parry riposte back and forth. Some tactical advice. Why do we extend? So we extend because of this. Every time that I do something, it's real. If I'm pointing my sword at you, I am going to hit you. But what if somebody doesn't do something, right? So here I extend and Prev does nothing. Fine. I'm going to hit him. I extend and this gets something out of him. He moves my blade out of the way. Fine. I'm just going to go on the other side. Not a big deal. The extension is a bait. It's real because you will attack in that line unless they close that line off. But if they do close that line off, then as you lunge, you can do a blade action. For example, a disengage going around the hilt, whether it's high or low. So go, yeah, there we go. Disengage. Or a cut over under a coupe, which is going around the blade, high or low. That takes a bit more time, so you got to be really safe when you do that, or you'll get hit in the middle of your coupe. Or a beat, right? Or you can take, he goes to do something to my blade as I extend, and I am going to glide. So I'm going to raise my hand so I take his weak and hit him anyway in that line. Those are all some options that you have from there, but that extension is either to get a response or to hit him anyway. If you are too close, then you can hit with just an extension. That means you're too close. Move back.
That's something that I find at my club we run into really frequently. Is we get closer and closer and closer as the game or drill or sparring continues, and It's good to check yourself and say, am I actually using my lunge and recovery in this lunge and recover system?
Yes. So a good way to train that is the following drill. So I'm going to use this to mark my position, and I can't go farther that way with this foot. And Prev will stand over there at my lunge range. This is not my max lunge range, but pretend it is. And I will attack from my max distance, and Prev will parry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to parry. I'm just going to attack, and then we switch roles. But this keeps me at that max range. If I move and I move my marker, then I have to do 2 push-ups. Why do I have to do 2 push-ups? It's not a punishment, it's a reminder so that your body goes, oh wait, I did the thing.
It's a very similar it's a very similar idea to when I was in the Marine Corps and they said pain retains.
Yes.
Right?
Well, it's not meant to be pain. It's just meant to be a thing so that like, oh, I kicked my cone or whatever. Well, 2 push-ups, go down. It's just meant to
it breaks your
break
train
your
of thought
yes,
and it makes you think about the thing you did wrong,
yes,
which will hopefully
correct it.
right.
It's been pretty effective so far.
Yeah.
Even just telling that to my fencers has made them kick their cone less. So, because you're gonna do it in the gear you're wearing, you don't get to stop, take off gear, get a break, get some water, and then do your
Yikes.
push-ups. You stop and you push, and then you get up and then you go, because we want to get as many reps in as possible. A very important footwork drill. Okay, there are 3 stages of learning things. Stage number 1 is incompetence. Stage number 2 is the ability to do things correctly, and stage number 3 is the inability to do things correctly. Incorrectly. Yeah, the inability to do them incorrectly. I need to work on that for when I'm talking to the camera stuff. But the thing that you're going to do for your footwork to become unable to do it incorrectly is you're going to assume your fencing stance. You're going to have 2 markers. So you're going to have a marker for forward and a marker for back, and you don't need the sword for this. So that this way you have a bit more room in your studio here. And all you're going to do is advance to that marker and then retreat to your marker. And you're going to go as fast as you can doing it correctly. So if you need to do anything like, for example, turn your back toes so that they're more square, then you just
Yes.
then you adjust, and then
It's
you keep
so
going.
many reminders of my kendo time, right?
Right.
Why is your back foot turning out? Shush, Atagi Sensei, it doesn't matter.
Well, there, but yeah, you go forward and you go backward, and you just go for time. Again, you go as fast as you can go while doing your footwork correctly.
A thing that everyone does, the thing that is wrong, is they try to go too fast.
Yes, and then they bring feet together. No
Right?
feet together.
Bad.
This is
Bad.
a for time thing. This is not a race. Don't bring your feet together. The smaller your advances and retreats, the easier they are, the faster you'll go, and the less galloping motion you'll have. Nice and small. You see my head isn't bobbing up and down. I'm just going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and simply. That's also why it's important to have your weight in the right place, because you'll just be able to move forward and backward instead of up and down, which takes more time and makes you a significantly less effective fencer.
And it's true across fencing footwork in general, right? Kendo Suriashi is little steps, nice and static.
Yep.
Right? The same way the feet are oriented differently, your posture is different, but the reality of small, quick steps
Yep.
are usually the better choice over longer steps that you break up that rhythm.
Yep. You can use those longer steps when you're sparring later. But for this exercise, do the nice little small ones, because you're trying to be able to get to that 3rd stage of the inability to do things incorrectly. The next footwork part of that is you advance and you lunge.
Oh, I was doing my kendo stance. Hold on. Right? So.
And recover. And then advance lunge. And recover. Now as you go back, you're going to subterfuge or reverse lunge. So you retreat, subterfuge, your back foot moves, and recover. and you just go back and forth between your markers. That can be, like 5 feet even if you don't have a huge room. It can be 50 feet or a whole football field. Whatever the length is, just go back and forth for time.
Yeah. So long
And
as you have enough room to advance and lunge,
yes,
right? You have enough room to do this for as long as you have time to do it.
yes.